Welcome back, new head torch in for testing. I have the HS2 from Olight, and this seems to be aimed at runners, but it could also be a general purpose head torch as well. We'll just run through the details on the box just to give you an overview. The main attraction with this is the dual LED light source, so you have a choice of two beam patterns. It's also ultra compact, the actual headlight section itself, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. And onto the back, some basic specs here: maximum of 400 lumens down to a minimum of 50. We'll go through the user manual just to give you an overview. Now do pay attention to the different modes. You can have single LED on both at the same time, and you have two modes for each one, so we'll look at that a bit later on. And the rest of the manual covers the basic operation as well as charging the battery pack. Now this comes in the wipe clean, quite a nice compact case that Olight provide. You could get this case on its own, but they also supply it with this. I quite like it, handy for storing the items in. So we just take them out and have a look at those in a bit more detail. Pretty basic package with this. You get some spare clips for the head strap. There's two already fitted, cable, extra long micro USB, 1.5 meters on that, and I'll show you why that is later on. And looking at the headlight itself now, with the Cree XPG2 with this, we have the distance one on the left, and you'll see the right side is slightly more diffused. That's for a more broader beam pattern. You can also rotate fully down and upwards. Notice just how small that section is. It's really one of the smallest, possibly as small as they could probably make it, but you do have the grills on the back. You can also remove this from the head strap quite easily. And I'll just show you the clips here. Again, that just keeps the cable in place. Nice large button on the side that has a silicone covering on it, so it's quite easy to find that, and you'll see it's pretty tough, the connection. That's to ensure there's a water resistance seal. So when you put that back together, make sure that it clicks fully in place. It does require a bit of effort to do that. And there's the second clip there, which holds the cable. Notice the spring part on the cable too, that's so it expands out when you put it on your head and onto the battery pack. Battery pack has a check indicator, 4 levels, and the micro USB port is covered with a protective flap. That's rated to 2000 milliamps an hour. We'll have a test on that later on. Just opening up the head strap now, you'll see how it expands out and how that coiled section is actually pretty important so it doesn't put any pressure on the cable. And comparing it to the H1 I have here, this is an upgraded version. You'll see different type of head torch. There are pros and cons to both. Perhaps the most obvious advantage with the Olight H1 is higher output. On the other hand, you get much longer run times with this compared to the H1 and the H1R. As far as the build quality goes, as you'd expect with Olight, very nice quality. The head strap and the actual construction and all of the cabling that comes with it as well. Very thick cable with this, there shouldn't be any issues. Now the operation with this, very simple. Single press for on, press again to go down to the lower power mode, and then double press switches between the two LEDs. You'll see moving on to the other one, and then it will go back to both. You'll quite easily get used to it. It only takes a short time, and you'll be able to see the beam patterns outside switching between the two, and I'll show you that a bit later on. And turning it off is just a case of a longer press. Notice the gradual on and off as well as the switching modes. It's very soft adjustment between the two, and a triple press takes you to the SOS mode. Now the Microusb Tip is a bit longer than the standard one, so if you use a different cable, check that out, make sure on that one. But if you're using the one that's supplied, you can run this off of a power bank or any other USB port that you have around. This is quite a large power bank that I have. This would run the torch probably for well over a week, but you can use the smaller ones as well. And unclipping is pretty straightforward, doesn't take too long to do. Once you're taking this off of the head strap, you notice the padding on the back of the battery pack. You can just attach this to anything else that you want to. You could just leave it lying on a tree stump or on the floor, or clip it onto a jacket or a backpack. You have a clip there behind the main head section. I've just showing you here clipped onto a jacket, but you can fit it to a pocket. anything else that you'll fit onto. Now this is rated to IPX4, which means it's resistant to water splashing from all directions, not water submersion. So I've tested it to that, didn't have any problems, and I'll show you it just fitted, what it looks like. Quite a light head torch, really not going to notice this. The heaviest part is obviously the battery pack, but it's not heavy at all, so it shouldn't really cause any problems for you if you are a runner or out and about. When you have the audible beep come on, you can press the button and it will turn that off. It means that you're down to around about 10%, and it goes very quickly when you have lowest power level. Now I did check the charging speed. We're getting around about an amp, at least the early stages. It took me 2.5 hours to charge this in total, and it took just over the 2000 milliamps an hour. I came up with 2073, so the rated capacity on the battery pack is accurate. I'm going to do some beam shots now, and I'll put on the screen which modes that I'm in. I've also got a few other head torches that I've tested, and then I'll come back with a conclusion and summary. Quick note for you on the run times. After about 20 minutes it was dropping down to around about the 300 lumens mark, but if you're out and about running you might find that it will last a bit longer. It has thermal management on that, and also colder weather conditions. It's summertime where I'm testing this at the minute. On to the pros and cons. Downsides for me would be the lack of moonlight mode. I would have liked a couple of lumens, ultra low mode just for up close work. There is PWM, and you also have a single strobe. Would have liked to have had a normal strobe or possibly a beacon included. On the upside there's quite a few too. Choice of beam patterns, very compact size. You have good run times off of the included power pack, but you can also take it off of the head strap and use it as a portable work light, and that's something which I would find quite useful as well. So that's my overall thoughts and conclusions on the HS2. Overall I think it's quite a good product, but there are definitely a couple of points with this that I would have changed to have made it an even more appealing one. So thanks for watching, and I will see you very shortly in my next video review.